It's going down. It's going down. It's going down on the Tiddy powwow. It's going down. It's going down. It's going down on the Tiddy powwow. It's going down. It's going. It's going down. It's going. It's going down on the Tiddy powwow.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Tiddy Powwow. It's your girl, Bernica Joan. Alongside me is the beautiful, the talented, the educated, and wondrous Miss Quisha Denise.
What's up, Bernica Joan?
What is up,
All those
Quisha?
compliments got me hyped.
Well, I just got to bring you in right.
That's right. That's right.
You know it. Oh, Fwen.
Hey.
This has been a long time coming.
Most definitely.
I'm so excited that we finally here, and we're getting ready to put out, what it is we've been working on for quite a while now.
Yeah, I think at least a year.
At least
to a year.
I know, it's crazy how that time just flies by.
Yeah. So, let's tell everybody how the Tiddy powwow came about.
Okay, I guess I'll, start it off. I guess the Tiddy powwow was something that was just came into fruition just basically with our lives, coming
colliding.
Exactly. It really was like
collided in a minute.
A real collision. Yeah. Well, I guess the backstory is, me and you, we've known of each other for some years, but we really just formed a friendship over the past 2 years. But
right.
A little bit of backstory, we were introduced through some mutual friends some years back, and it wasn't really a pleasant situation, at that time in our lives or my life, the way that you came into my world, or the way our lives
met.
Paths,
the way our paths crossed was, it wasn't like we had beef.
No.
It's just that it was just
like an uncomfortable situation, And amongst women too, I feel like, a lot of the times it's like, I don't know her and I don't need to be cool with her. And you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes we have this.
Who is she?
Exactly. But that's, when you operate out of a level of immaturity, I can even say on my part. But so that kind of, was our first introduction. And then fast forward to some years later,
like 2016, the end of 2016.
Right. Yeah. So I had just came out of a relationship and had a newborn at the time. And a friend of ours had brought you to get your makeup done.
Right.
Brought you to me to get your makeup done because you were graduating and you were pregnant at the time.
I was pregnant and I had been crying when I showed up. And you was like, after you would wipe your face, like you can't cry no more because you can't mess up your makeup.
Yeah.
And then it started a conversation about why I was crying, which led to me learning about the pain that you were in at the same time. So
right.
I think at that time we became, each other's comfort, and you ended up doing my hair for free. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. I do what I can do when I can do it.
I was totally flat for my graduation.
Yeah. But, I felt like it was necessary. And at that point, we was just really like vibing and had connected, on this level where we were both
going through some level. Yeah, definitely.
Going through some real deep things. And I think we just really was leaning on each other for support at that time. And so it just went, I guess what was supposed to be like a 45-minute interaction, like doing your makeup
led to a couple of hours.
Yeah. And from there, a friendship developed.
Mm-hmm.
And we just would have, I guess,
powwows.
Yeah. Little meetups, little powwows in your living room, sitting there.
Living room, the sauna, the gym.
Right. My basement,
walking around the neighborhood.
Yeah. Yeah. Just wherever, just these really, I think I had just found somebody who was feeling what I was feeling or could relate to what I was going through. And I think with your therapist background, you were just somebody that was easy to talk to, with no judgment.
Mm-hmm.
And
we kind of the same with you, with no judgment, and even without a therapist background, you seem to be very intuitive and and helpful. So yeah, that's how the friendship was born.
Yeah.
And then we both were, a lot of times I had my baby and she had her baby. So we were breastfeeding. And so a lot of times we had these very vulnerable and candid conversations with our titty out.
Right.
So it was titty powwow.
Double D's hanging out, But, but no, we did. Like, we'd be sitting there
Double
nursing the
D.
kids and just having these really in-depth conversations. And they were in that moment, like, very candid, but also it was a part of our healing process, because a lot of stuff, a lot of the times you have to speak about, stuff in order to, deal with it. I know one of the lines on Jay-Z's 444 album, he says, you can't heal what you don't reveal.
Exactly.
And it's so true. Like, you have to get it out in order, because that's the problem. People keep stuff bottled up. That's when you have a lot of emotional issues and stuff continues to linger and you really never get past,
And also, I mean, those ill feelings play out in different situations in your life too, in the way that you respond and interact with other people.
Definitely.
So, I'm really thankful that you were there at a time when, I needed a friend. Like, I needed a friend who, was just available. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times your friends, they're caught up in their own lives. And even me, I tell people, like, if you friends with me, you need to have 5 other friends, because I ain't always available. But it is no shade. It's all love. It's just that sometimes I'm wrapped up into my own stuff. And I think at that time, me and you were just kind of in the same place in life of really trying to discover ourselves and be better women and recognizing different flaws of our own, but wanting to do the next right thing. And so it was just, how our friendship was born and how we started just having basically a podcast with no audience.
Exactly. Right. We were just, I guess the babies were our audience, just looking up like, what are they talking about? But it was so like necessary that we came together at the time that we did, because it really has helped. I really have seen like our growth over these past couple years, and it led to this place now where we are, ready to talk about our journey, talk about things that we've learned, talk about things we've experienced, in hopes that it will help, other people that have found themselves in similar situations, or that are going through a situation like us, or that are feeling those emotions that we were feeling at that time. I mean, that we still, sometimes
feel.
Yeah, we sometimes, because I mean, we're imperfect, we're human. So we're going to have those feelings. But I think, it's just the ways that we found to cope and, be able to kind of just love on ourselves and build ourselves back up, after being at such a low point in our lives.
Yeah, definitely. And I think sometimes the other people around us, because we present so strong, probably didn't even recognize the points that we were at that time. So, and I think also, even with the Tiddy Powwow, I mean, wanting it to be like a place where, we can talk about real things and try to grow together and heal together. I think the Tiddy Powwow is so much bigger than what we even think it could be, because we want it to be a place for a sisterhood.
Yeah. Like unity among women. And that's why I said what I said about like back some years ago when we were first introduced of each other. I was kind of in the mindset where like no new friends, or I don't need no new friends. And, like she's her friend, I don't need to be her friend too. But I think now, you don't even realize why sometimes people come into your life, and sometimes people, I've always felt like you shouldn't force relationships. And I think that was probably the initial, the initial thing was like I'm not going to force something. Yeah. Exactly. But, things work in mysterious ways. And like I said, we came together at the right time, because you could have been like any other customer, sat in my chair, I did your makeup, gone about your business. But there was a reason for us to kind of connect in that moment, and not even knowing that 2 years later we would birth this podcast that, that we're just hoping will like really help us to continue to heal ourselves, through revealing things about ourselves and teaching and telling stories, but also help someone else.
Yeah, giving information, just laughing about what's going on in the world and how it's affecting us, and how we view life and the things around us. So yeah, I definitely was excited about the Titty Powwow so that I could have a place to not be somebody's mama, not be somebody's therapist, like to really come and just really powwow.
Yeah, and just leave all
Kick it.
your responsibilities and insecurities at the door and just come and be as candid as we can, to hopefully, make this a positive thing for anybody that wants to, hear what we got to say. So
And anybody who wants to evolve.
definitely. That's the biggest thing I feel like over there. Like I said, just the growth, evolving as women is so important because you never stop growing, you never stop learning. But I am much happier and much more proud of the woman that I am today versus who I was 2 years ago, because I was very lost, and very naive, very immature. And I felt like sometimes, things that are tragic in your life or things that hurt, when you have to deal with pain, that's how you grow. And that's how you kind of have to develop into the person that you're supposed to be through pain.
And just through different experiences.
Exactly.
I mean, and then also when we're talking about our topic that we have for today, which is she didn't know she was gold, it totally resonates with the experiences that we were having when we met. Just learning our worth,
right?
Coming into ourselves.
Yeah.
So
yeah, yeah. Because so many times in relationships we can question, or when there's a division, or the separation, of a relationship, it's like you question yourself. You question, was I, why, was I good enough, or what was wrong with me, or what did you do? We always can blame ourselves for everything. But even if you feel like there is something on your part that you need to work on, that's all growth. You don't. I think what it is like not being so hard on ourselves. And I know back then I was very hard on myself, but now, I've just come to realize that if, there's something that I've discovered about myself, I just need to work to make it better. Like it's all positive at the end of the day. Like there's no hard feelings, but definitely, it was a journey having to pick myself up and, move forward. And just really reprogram the whole way I was thinking, about myself, having those negative thoughts about myself. Now, I try to, be more positive with, what I'm doing. And if I still, stumble in something that I'm working on, just, hope for tomorrow, to do better tomorrow. It's really all you can.
Yeah. And just put in the work for yourself. Because when I think about the characteristics of a woman who doesn't know that she's gold, I just think of just the low self-esteem, low standards, just not really taking care of yourself, and poor decision making,
Yeah. A lot of the time too, it can be attention seeking.
That's true.
A lot of the time, so many women, and I'm not, really one to judge, but I think now I just look at things totally different, and people that feel like they need all of that external validation from people. Like a lot of the times, they're dealing with insecurities on the inside, so they put up this front to make it look like everything's all good. Look at me, because they really, really need that, outside validation in order to feel complete or to feel happy. And I think once you really learn to love yourself and like be your own best friend, what was that? We was talking earlier when we was talking about like even going into like, sometimes you have to withdraw, when they say elevation requires separation. Right. Sometimes you really have to like withdraw from certain people or certain, situations and really just like hone in on your own solitude in order to work on yourself and love on yourself to build yourself back up. A lot of the times you can't be still moving the way that you were before, putting on this smile and putting on this front when you're not really happy. You really got to just like sit back and do the work,
Yeah. And doing the work is hard. I know I tell people all the time, like, you have to, sometimes you have to just insulate yourself. You know what I mean? You have to just go inward and insulate so you can protect yourself from the stuff that's going on around you and outside of you and the things that you can't control. And I think that that's really an important thing to try to build yourself back up. When you realize that you didn't know who you were or you didn't know your worth enough to make certain decisions. So,
because you have to sometimes step back, like when you in the thick of it, or you in, whatever it is that's bothering you, whether it's that relationship or a job or just a place in your life that you're not happy with yourself. Like sometimes you have to kind of go through the mud. And then once you come out on the other side, see what, you can get a clearer vision of what it is, that was the issue there, but sometimes when you're in that situation, you really can't see it because you're living it every day.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most important thing is kind of stepping back, like, wait a minute, like I really put up with that, or I really, was okay with that, or I allowed that, because once you grow, it's so many, it's so many things that you may not, allow now that you accepted before. And that's just a part of maturity and growth. And that's why a lot of the times, you end up separating or finding yourself, losing friends, sometimes even family, or just sometimes really relationships you thought that were real important. You realize that it wasn't the best thing for you in life.
And I think sometimes you just realize certain friendships, certain relationships are just not, they don't promote your growth, and a lot of times the people who are on the other side of those may feel a way about you needing to almost isolate so that you can't insulate, and get yourself together.
But at the end of the day, it's all out of love. Like when you are growing and maturing, in a positive manner, it's not even about like, there's no beef. You know what I'm saying? It's all love. And if we're just on different wavelengths, like we're just, we've just kind of grown apart, but it doesn't have to be like, it could be a negative. It don't have to be a negative thing, That's just kind of what it is. And like I said, even with our situation, me and you weren't meant to be friends, when you was first introduced to me, but now we have grown to a place where we're on the same wavelength as far as what it is that we want and what we feel like our purpose is, through our journeys and our experiences that we've had. Right. And we just, and we've come together and it's, so organic and it just feels good. And I feel like it just works well. And I really feel like, with our backgrounds, with you being a therapist, me being a stylist, I mean, I work on the outer, of people, making them look beautiful, but also I feel like when you look good, you feel good. And sometimes for me, making a woman feel good in that moment, even if it's going to wash off, her face that night, if I can give, help give somebody that confidence.
Right. And temporary. Even if the joy's temporary.
Yeah. It's still a wonderful thing, for that person. And, eventually can help build them up to where, they feel more confident, leaving. Like if I give them the tools and the tricks to execute it on their own. So I think we're both, kind of people that help to make people feel better about themselves.
Right. And I think that's something that we take a lot of pride in and get a lot of fulfillment out of doing. Yeah. And so, it's no wonder we would find ourselves here.
Yeah. At the Tiddy Powwow.
At the Tiddy Powwow.
I want to get back kind of to the meaning of it because I know people, when they see the Tiddy Powwow with 2 D's, double D's. They're going to be, I think people always, first thing want to make it sexual. And really, it's not at all sexual because, like I say,
nothing derogatory.
No. It definitely derived from us.
Not that being sexual is derogatory, though, but it's not like a lot of people hear that word and feel like, oh, that's out of order. I mean, we actually was wanting to pitch our show to somebody else, and they were like, we would have to change the name just because. So I think it's important for people to understand the meaning of the name.
And like I said, it really originally, like literally derived from, in a literal sense, us breastfeeding our kids and having these real, like I say, in-depth conversations. But then, more figuratively, it can mean so many things. Like with the titties, the titties basically like guard the heart, and provides nourishment for our children.
Because before there was formula,
Exactly.
there was titties.
Exactly. And that was all that we had. So, and we're women, we're women that are sharing our stories. And so it's kind of just kind of play on words, to express what we're talking about, what this is all about, where it comes from, it comes from the heart.
And who it's for.
And we also said, the titties like satisfy the men as well. So, part of our whole, slogan or whatever with the Titty Powwow is that it's for this podcast is for women, but also for the men who love them. So, this is going to satisfy, anybody that loves women, and that really wants to see women grow and see women be their best selves, Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my take on it. Yeah. It's going down. So back to our topic. She didn't know she was gold. I feel like it's so important, especially at this moment in time, because everybody's on this self-love thing. Like everybody's like, wants to love themselves. And, a lot of the time self-love ain't about, I know you said before, like it ain't really pretty, it ain't all baths and this and that. A lot of the times it's really like digging into ourselves and finding what it is that the good, bad, and the ugly, and kind of embracing all of it.
I think it's also just addressing brokenness.
Yeah.
That's pretty much how I see it, is just addressing those parts of you that need improvement. It's easy to love on yourself. It's easy to love the good things about yourself. It's easy to brag on the good things about yourself, but it's hard to address yourself and certain behaviors or certain characteristics of yourself. And I think a lot of people don't understand sometimes even where it even started. A lot of times that we don't even recognize that a lot of the issues that we have with ourselves, even as women, sometimes start in childhood.
Yeah.
Through childhood experiences and childhood trauma.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah. And it's not until you really get old enough to understand those things, because when you're younger, you may not understand why certain things happen or why you maybe maneuvered a certain way throughout life that you did. But once you come to a place where you do want to find your purpose and you want to find out like the true essence of who you really are and what you're here for, or what does that mean to be a woman, or what does that mean to be a mother? What does that mean to be a girlfriend or a wife? You really start to see what works for you and what you're starting to reveal about yourself.
Right.
Because everybody's different and everybody, what works for one ain't gonna work for another. The way I healed may not work for you. It might not be the way that you go through your healing. But I have discovered so many things about myself, and it really has helped me to love myself a lot more.
Well, I think also one of the things that you've done that we have to encourage women to do is take time out for yourself. I think that sometimes we don't take enough time out for ourselves to work through the things that we have going on and to basically tend to ourselves in a way that helps us grow in certain ways, And then, because if we don't do that, then we end up having repeated experiences, or those same negative feelings keep on happening because of the choices that we make.
Yeah. But they say that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, not expecting a different result. So I think with me, I just needed to really just take the time to cultivate the things that were so important to me. First off, my children, like doing things with them, like trying to figure out what it was that made them happy, and spending time with them. Also, I guess with my mother passing, around that same time. I mean, that was like the lowest point in my life on top of everything else that followed after that. She always used to say that, when you turn 20, when you turn 30, you come into this awakening as a woman. I felt like for me that maybe happened more at 28, 29, because, that's when she passed. But really, like I said, at 30, once I kind of had to like open my eyes and see the world for what it was, and I'm just grateful, you know, that it happened when it did, because so many people out here are still lost. But I really feel like even though I have more work to do on myself and I'm still growing and evolving, I have such a different mindset, you know, than I was who I was 3 years ago. And I'm so thankful for that.
Yeah. I definitely feel like I've evolved, over the years, through my experiences and just going through certain things. And I guess for me, even being 36, I don't know, my awakening probably is very recent in the last year or two, being just really digging into myself and noticing certain things and having to address certain things about me. And so, and then learning through therapy and other things, where it started and understanding how those things have played out in my life, going, from childhood on through. So, um, and I think we definitely have to, when you're thinking about a woman who doesn't know her worth, we can't ignore the different reasons why she wouldn't know, because a lot of times, if you're not taught, that you are valuable and you are worthy at a young age, you won't know how to make people treat you.
Yeah. They say you got to teach people how to treat you. And that's so true, because once you start allowing certain things, people will just do whatever and continue to, play off of that and, continue to, do what it is, whatever it is you allow them to do to you. And I know a lot of the times, I think with women, it's like we need to know when to let go of like those negative beliefs about ourselves, whether it's something that we've instilled in our own minds, about ourselves, or if it came, from our childhood, things that we were told as kids, as young girls, and we grew up to believe, or whether it came from, a spouse or a significant other, like those negative beliefs, we have to let go of those, because we have to believe that we are not what people say we are, and that comes from, because you can hear things so much and really think that that's who you are, or that these things are true about you. But, you have to realize that what someone says about you doesn't define who you are. That's their opinion.
But some people live by the opinions of others. And so, I mean, how do you have to learn to move to a place of understanding. And I think it's learning too, but that you have intrinsic value, that you don't have to seek the acceptance of others, that you don't have to try to belong. You just have to be, And I think about the word belong. I think about it starts with be, just be. And I think even as I've come into myself, learning how to be myself has gotten me more acceptance than searching for, trying to search through other people on how and who to be. And so I think just learning how to be yourself and belong and just feeling like, because I'm here, like my presence is a gift.
Yeah. Or my presence is enough.
My presence is enough.
Yeah. Like you don't have to go through, you don't have to do too much, to make it either you rock with me or you don't. You know what I'm saying? Either it is what it is. Like you don't have to try to be something that you're not. You know what I mean? In order to feel accepted, because if people don't accept you as you are, then obviously those are not your people. Right. And I'm okay with that. Right. Like really standing in who you are, flaws and all, and just really be okay with that.
Yeah. And learning how to fill yourself up, because a lot of times people look for other people to give them that validation because they lack the ability to fill themselves up, and they don't have that self-validation. And so, and when you look for people to fill you up, you also give them the power to deplete you.
Exactly.
And then you left picking up yourself all the time because you're looking for something that you can only find really in yourself.
Yeah. That's why like positive affirmations are so good. Sounds kind of, I guess, cheesy, a little corny, but I know.
I don't think positive affirmations are corny at all.
I'm just saying, like, as far as not really cheesy or corny, but it's like walking around, oh, I'm great, I'm this, I'm that, but you don't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? In order to, but just knowing that it's there, like I know a lady, she has her picture on her desk, and next to it, it has like, it's all, I'm wonderful, I'm smart, I'm strong, all the things. But when you see stuff like that on a normal basis, on an everyday basis, those are the things that start to click into your head, and you start to believe it, and you start to feed your mind and fuel your mind to think differently about yourself. Because I think we all can probably name 5 things about ourselves that we don't like about ourselves, real quick off the top of our head. But we probably can't say 5 things positive about ourselves as quick as we can say the negative things.
I know that you write about it because a lot of times, even when we have to do initial assessments or evaluations on people in therapy, a lot of times when we get to the strengths and weaknesses part, people can name, like they have a really hard time saying good things about themselves or noticing gifts or different talents. But when you ask them their weaknesses, I mean, they can just run down a list so quick. And I think that a lot of times we get caught up focusing on our weaknesses or, the things that we don't like about ourselves, instead of embracing those positive traits and those good things that, have made us who we are.
Yeah. And like I said, it really comes with reprogramming your mind, because that is, like I said, one of the things about of being happy, or the pursuit of being happy, like being okay in like where you are at this moment, being okay with everything the way that it is, even if you want to change it, but still being okay with where you are in that moment. You know what I'm saying? Whether you still 25 pounds heavier than you want to be, or, your hair ain't grown as long as you want it to, or whatever, the issue is, that you're dealing with, like still finding, making peace with where you are, in that moment. That's like the real bag. That's the real peace of mind, is being happy where you are in that moment, and not looking to the future in order to, I'll be happy when, I'll be so happy when I lose this weight, I'll be so happy when my hair grow out. Like, you're beautiful just like you are, and you are you. Like, nobody can do you like you. So just embracing who you are in the moment, because tomorrow has its own anxieties. You never know what the next day brings. So you have to be okay in the present.
Most definitely. And I think it's just, even when you said you have to be okay, I think teaching people, how do we become okay? How do we get okay? Because some people don't even recognize that they're not even where they need to be, but until something happens, until you've been like hurt or something happens, and you look around you and like, this ain't it, and so I guess that's why I think pain can be gained, because you look around and you're like, this ain't it. So then you start figuring out, what is it that I need to do for myself?
Yeah.
And I think the most interesting thing about you, even when I met you, was the fact that you was in therapy, because I had only had like one other friend who had gone to therapy before. And it seems like at that time you were willing to do whatever it took to make sure that you was okay. And so I think we just have to, as women, have to recognize like those reasons on why we don't know our worth, and some of it is abandonment issues, not having fathers. Because I think sometimes when you don't have somebody, when the person who's supposed to love you the most, whether it be your father or mother, some of us didn't have mothers either, but whether it be your father, your mother, when you don't have the person who is supposed to love you the most loving you, it would create definitely some issues dealing with self-worth and self-love. Because if my mother didn't love me or my father didn't love me, like, I must not be worthy.
Yeah.
And and a lot of people feel that way as they grow up.
Yeah, and I think even with me too, now, even that you mentioned that, like when my mother passed away, like she would always say, like, I'm your biggest cheerleader, even when she would like critique me about certain things, she's like, I'm not going to tell you wrong. Like, nobody's going to have your back like I do, which she was absolutely right, and she would give me the honest, truth about myself. And it wasn't always, I definitely got my brashness and my harshness, with my words sometimes from her, because she didn't, make it look real pretty and put icing on it and glitter and make it look all cute. She just said whatever she was speaking off the top of her head. But I think once I lost her, I didn't have that person. And so I almost had to give myself, those, you know, positive talks and, pick and just be my own cheerleader, really cheerlead for myself. Like, you are all those things, because the person who was always the one that had my back wasn't here any longer, so it's definitely like learning how to live all over again when you lose, someone that important, which, of course, that's a totally different topic. But I know that kind of helped shape, the way I had to reprogram my mind, moving forward, of course, like I say, losing her and then, coming out of a relationship that was like such a major time in my life, that, the demise of that relationship, I think just realized like, I'm not okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm definitely not okay. I've held it together as long as I could, but I need to go talk to somebody because I'm feeling away and I know that, I just need a little help, and it was, and this the best thing I recommend therapy to anybody, whether it's grief counseling, whether it's, just regular therapy. Like, it's so important to just help, and it's so healthy to help build yourself back up and also open up your eyes to things that you may have never even realized, about yourself.
I think it's so true. And I think that the one thing that really bothers me is that a lot of people don't seek out therapy because we've been taught, all these different things like, oh, you don't take your problems to those, like, especially in our family, sometimes they'd be like, don't be telling those white people your business.
In our culture,
you know what I'm saying, or stay, what happens in this house stays in this house. We've been taught to really conceal pain, and really to hold different things in. And almost, I saw, when Gucci had did an interview and he was like, Drake,
yes.
They had showed a meme of him. They was like, black families, when you say you depressed or whatever, they like depressed.
Right.
A lot of times when people will feel like, oh, you just being weak or you need to just get it together. They don't believe that you're having a real crisis or, dealing with some real stuff. They just like, oh, okay, you going through this, you need to bounce back.
Yeah,
and it's just like
off.
The expectation is just to bounce back like it never happened, walk like it's easy, and look good while you're doing it.
Yeah. But unfortunately, a lot of the times people hide behind that pain and they lash out or they act out in other ways, or they, turn to drugs or alcohol or
sex, promiscuity.
Exactly. There's different ways they deal with it, but they're just, everybody just, it comes a time when you have to own your shit, like just own whatever it is that you are dealing with, and make a vow and a promise to yourself that you just want to be the best. That was with me. I'm like, I want to be the best person that I can be for myself first and foremost. And then of course for my kids, because I have two little boys, that are dependent on me and looking up to me. And that also feed off of every emotion that I have, my 2-year-old, he'll come to me like, you okay, mama? You okay? Because they can feel, feed off of you when you're not feeling good or when, and my most important thing is raising healthy boys in this world, a healthy children, period. There's so many other outside things they have to deal with. Like, I feel like children should always have a safe home to come home to and a healthy parent.
A healthy environment.
Yeah. Definitely. So I think that's what really any mother or any parent would want. Like, you should want your children to see the best version of you. So you just got to take the time to do that work on yourselves, and it ain't easy and it ain't always fun and pretty, but the end reward is so magnificent because when you really feel free, there's no feeling like it.
Yeah. When you just feel like I'm okay with myself. I'm okay with what I'm doing. Like, I'm ready to live.
Yeah. And I'm going to do these things so that I can get better. So that even like I say, even like celebrating the small victories, like, like I might not have lost all the weight from my son, you know what I'm saying? But every day that I get to go to the gym or that I really put in, an extra effort at the gym and I work out that full hour, that is a small victory towards the prize at the end. And that makes me feel so good. So like just patting yourself on the back and congratulating yourself for the small wins. It don't necessarily have to be, the big finale, but
Well,
just
they add up,
exactly.
they like little pebbles that add up.
Yeah.
So, into a big boulder. So
Exactly. Or whether that's just finishing a
now,
book, reading a book, or getting a corner cleaned out in your house. I remember when you got your corner cleaned out in your room and you sent me the picture how you had it set up so
right.
cute. Like that's a personal win for you. That's a victory.
Hmm.
You have a safe, quiet, quaint place to go sit and do whatever you want to do, whether you're doing your paperwork or reading a book or just drinking some
Hmm.
tea or a glass of wine. Like that's a wonderful thing when you can just make progress in any aspect of
Hmm.
your life. It don't necessarily have to be, like I said, something that may be a win for me. That was a win for you.
Hmm. And I think just building up yourself though in the ways that you like, making your life what you want it to be. A
Hmm.
lot of times we get stuck thinking that where we are at that moment is all there is, and there's definitely steps that you can take to become who you want to be, to have the things that you want, and to value the things that you have at that time. Because even part of me cleaning out that corner was like, I don't want to have all this nice stuff and be ungrateful or not appreciate it the way that I should, and that's what a lot of times we don't appreciate things like we should.
Yeah.
And so, but building yourself up and changing things is changing your habits.
Yeah.
Um, Definitely changing habits. And actually, one of my friends who is also a therapist has a book out called Get Out of Your Own Way, 21 Days to Stop Self-Sabotage. And I had started reading that the other day, and I was like, this is amazing. It's by Brittany Johnson. She's a LMHC over in Indiana. So, it's on Amazon if anybody wants it, but it's called Get Out of Your Own Way, 21 Days to Stop Self-Sabotage. So um, definitely check that out. But in the book, she talks about the ways that sometimes we tend to self-sabotage and we don't even notice it. And so, just trying to figure out
Yeah.
ways to be better.
Yeah. Make better choices. Sometimes taking yourself out of certain situations or around people that tear you down, or that not even tear you down, but people that have negative talk. You know what I mean? I've had to distance myself from people that were really close to me, that it was just always toxic, when I was in their space.
Mhm.
And that can be hard on you, separating yourself from people that you were once close to. But if it's for the betterment of yourself, like it's so necessary,
Absolutely.
it's so necessary. And that's one thing that I've had to do, because it was like self-sabotage. Like I'm going to go in, like I knew I was going to go into this space and there was going to be a lot of things maybe that weren't healthy for me,
Right. And you might feel a way coming out of that space that you'd be like, questioning things that were said, or, different things. So I definitely understand having to withdraw,
Yeah.
having to step back from certain things and certain people. And like you said, choices, the choices that we make, those when you really start to know your worth, you start to make different choices. So you're going to be around different people than you were before.
Exactly.
You're going to value yourself like on the job or whatever and feel like I belong here. And, if they don't appreciate me, I don't have to be here.
Yeah.
Or
just
in a
demanding
relationship
your respect.
anyway, demanding your respect.
Yeah. Like there's certain things you may not, certain situations you may put yourself in, or like I said before, what you accepted before, you won't accept no more. Like I'm not gonna accept you talking to me like it's,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? So if you respect me enough, or if you value me enough as a friend, as whoever in your life, then we're gonna have to like switch some things up. And if people can't get on your bandwagon, or people can't get on board with you, then it's time to like separate, you know what I'm saying,
Right.
and move in a different direction.
And it's okay to disconnect.
It is.
It really is.
It
Like,
really is.
because the people, I always say the people who are going to be there will be, a lot of times I even notice a lot of people, and I think it's a insecurity or something. I haven't been able to truly put my finger on it. But a lot of times people get obsessed with their haters and stuff like that. You see them make 1 million posts and they don't care about their haters, but they post like 100 posts about their haters, and like you got like 100 people that love you, but you still making like 1 million posts about 8 people who don't like you. It sounds like you might be looking for their approval still, and that, that's not, if you know what you worth, I don't even think about who don't like me, who's not.
Honey, I love
there.
all my haters because the way I feel about it is hate is just hating, or jealousy is just confused admiration at the end of the day. You know, what people might say about you, you know, the negative things, really it's just a reflection of how they feel about themselves. You know, or there's some sort of like a thin line between love and hate. Like you act like you really hate me, but you really love me. You really won't get down with this side, but you just don't know how to do it, you know. But I think the thing about the Tiddy Powwow, you know, is like we said before, it's about unity. It's about it being a safe place for women to discuss things that we're thinking about, things that we're going through, things that we're feeling. And it's just like a unity, a place for women, you know, to come and maybe, like I say,
it is also a place, you know, for men to gain understanding.
Most definitely.
We want to definitely make sure that, that because these issues that we have, a lot of times they are derived, even sometimes from the relationships that we have with the men in our life, whether it be, you know, your father, your man, your kids, your son, your brother.
Yeah.
Like this is also for everybody, you know, to understand and help to build up that community that you need for support too.
It's true. It's like the other day, Peyton was like, he came and gave me a hug, my oldest son, and he was like, Mom, I'm just so proud of you. Like, you know, you do all this stuff, you know, for everybody. And, you know, you still find time to go work out and, you know, still make food for us and make a dinner for us. And, you know, I mean, like these are small things, you know, like maybe to some, you know, or to any other child that they might feel like you're supposed to cook for me, or you supposed to, you know, do
just
this.
So used to it, don't even value it.
But I love that he like shows me appreciation for that, because like it is hard work to like pick yourself up every day and try to make everything happen, you know, but it's not, you know, your child recognizing that is so important. And like I say, I want to raise sons that see the value in women, you know, and that give women, you know, that build women up, you know, definitely that's what type of young men I'm trying to raise out here. So, you know, this is even for them, you know, for them to see, you know, this is who your mother is, and this is what's passionate and what's, you know, near and dear to my heart. So hopefully they'll see how important it is when they begin dating and, you know, want to find a wife of their own.
Exactly. And also showing them the type of woman that they should look for, because, you know, they're going to look for you in whoever they get with. So, you know, we are the example. I think the biggest thing about being a woman is just, it's a huge responsibility. And that's why you have to be healthy. That's why you have to learn certain things about yourself and grow to a certain place, because it's a huge responsibility.
Because health is wealth. Like you can have all of the things, you know, material wise, you know, and be sharp from head to toe. But if you're not solid and, you know, healthy in your heart, like what type of children are you raising?
And healthy in your mind.
Exactly. Healthy in your mind. Like what type of children are you raising? What type of energy are you putting out here in this world?
Yeah.
And I'm all about, you know, energies. I definitely feed off people's energy, or can sense, you know, when somebody's energy is off. And it's so important to like be around like-minded people and people with the same energy as you, because, you know, they can really, you know, make yourself stagnant in your growth when you have, you know, energies that are off balance with yourself.
Right. Off balance.
Yeah.
And balance is important.
It really is. But I'm just thankful that we have this, you know, this time, and this outlet to really display what it is that we're trying to put out here and what we want people to, you know, grasp and gain from our podcast.
And I know that we were talking about doing the meme of the week.
Yeah.
We were talking about, what was that one meme that you said that was that you felt like was the meme of the week?
Oh God, hold on, because you caught me off guard.
I think it was something along the lines, once you accept your flaws, nobody can use them against you.
Yeah, well, that was one of them. I know this one was like, you can rise up from anything. You can completely recreate yourself. Nothing is permanent. You're not stuck. You have choices. You can think new thoughts. You can learn something new. You can create new habits. All that matters is that you decide today and never look back. That's like basically what it's about. Like, you know, you don't have to be who you was yesterday. You don't have to think the way that you thought yesterday. You don't have to beat yourself up. If you was beating yourself up yesterday, you can turn that around and lift yourself up the next day. You know, like I was saying, we're all gonna have bad days, but just kind of like making your mind over to push to be the best person that you can be.
Yeah, I think it just boils down to choices that we, you
Definitely.
know, we have choices. So, you know, you don't have to be who you were.
That one was, once you accept that you have flaws, no one can use them against you.
Yeah.
And that's
it's so true.
So profound.
It's extremely profound because when people be like, "Oh, I remember when," you be like, "Me too."
Well, I'm not. She no longer lives here. Like she no longer is here anymore. You know, she has left the building. Yeah.
But that's a place of acceptance.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that that's what plays a huge role in going, even from a person who doesn't know your worth, to knowing your worth, is accepting everything, that everything has its place. It had its, you know, it had its lesson.
Yeah. And everything that you went through, the good, bad, and the ugly, it has put you in the position that you are today, or has put you on the path to where you are today. Like, if you didn't go through the same thing, me and you was talking the other day, I'm like, had I not, you know, went through what I went through, you know, or made some decisions that I made, maybe I might not even have been here, you know what I'm saying, for us to have cultivated this relationship. But the decisions that I did make kept me here, you know,
to this point,
led me to this point, and so everything works out the way that it's supposed to. And I think that's another thing, just not question, you know what I'm saying? Why me? Why did this happen? Like, and start asking yourself, like, what is this teaching me? Why did this happen to me? What did this do for me? You know, not why is this happening to me, but what is this going to do for me? And all it can do at the end of the day, if it don't kill you, it's going to make you stronger. And that, and being stronger is so important, because you're going to always get hit with lessons, you know, and get hit with things, but it's about how you bounce back from them and what you learn from those situations.
Yeah. I think even when I'm talking to people who've had certain traumas, and I make sure, like, certain traumas that I've had with them, you know, I always say that, you know, I've never known, oh, why did I go through this, or why did I have to deal with that? I never, like, trying to figure out the why is too much. I think that I feel like if I had not went through that, I wouldn't be as compassionate as I am. I wouldn't be the person that I am. And so, you know, even those things made me go, you know, so. And not only can you, you know, learn to be gold, but learn to be goals.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. And I love that. I mean, it is. It's like, it's like a switch clicks. Once you see yourself as your higher self, and don't back down off of that, or don't come off your pedestal, you know what I mean? Like, just really, and it's not even about being cocky. It's just about the confidence. You know what I'm saying? Like, not coming down off your pedestal to satisfy nobody else, you know, but to show yourself that this is who I am, and I'm going to treat myself like the queen that I am. And I'm not going to allow anybody to make me think or to treat me anything less than.
Yeah. And let go, deal with anything that you have to, you know, deal with to be in that place, you know, to stay in that place.
Yeah. And if you do start having those negative thoughts, or those, negative thinking creep back in your mind, just find ways to shake it off, you know, and think happy thoughts, you know, to move yourself back into the direction that it is that you're supposed to be on.
Most definitely, because everybody has their struggles and their insecurities and different things like that. And the thing about it is, it's not that you won't have, I don't think I'm good. I will like every piece of me. No, it's that I understand where I'm at. I accept where I'm at. I know what I'm worth, and I'm working to be better, you know, striving to evolve.
And nobody's exempt from having those feelings. I'm sure even with Beyonce being who she is, you know, when she went through her, you know, stuff with Jay-Z, I'm sure she had moments where she questioned herself, and she's the queen, you know what I'm saying? So it don't matter.
Definitely the queen of pop culture. You know?
Yeah. I mean, like, so many people look up to her. Like, she's even, you know, the epitome of, like, strength with a woman. You know, girls run the world, you know, who run the world. Like, but she was in a low place, so nobody's exempt from it, but it's about how you pick yourself back up and, love on yourself and see yourself as your highest self.
Mm-hmm.
That's my thing. Like, see yourself as your highest self and try to show up as her as much as you can.
Mm-hmm.
And,
and let your presence be a gift.
Exactly. And let your presence speak for itself. Like, you don't have to say who you are or
you don't have to prove anything.
Exactly. You don't have to prove nothing. Just be. And whoever's down with it, they down. If not, lay down.
Exactly.
Yeah. Back up off me. Yeah. But I'm so thankful that, we're able to come and talk about these things. And, of course, moving forward, I would love, for people to kind of be more interactive and kind of, tell us what it is that they want us to talk about.
Yeah, like
or share stories.
If anybody has any suggestions on some things that you want to, think we should address on the Tiddy Powwow, please let us know, because we want to talk about everything. We want to talk about definitely those things that are on the hearts and the minds of the people, but also just have fun and understand, just learn how to maneuver through life together.
With grace.
With grace.
Yes. Sharing experiences and
a sisterhood.
Sharing stories. It's all a sisterhood, and we're just here to kind of help build each other up. So follow us on Instagram at the Tiddy Powwow. DM us any questions or stories you have, that you don't mind sharing. And we will definitely be, interactive with you all on this journey. And thank you for listening.
And give us some feedback.
Yeah.
Catch us every week.
And we're out.
Catch us every week.
It's going down. It's going down. It's going down on the Tiddy Powwow. It's going down. It's going down. It's going down on the Tiddy Powwow. It's going down. It's going down. It's going down on the Tiddy Powwow.